All right, folks, we're going to get started because, as you know, time is of the essence here in a 20-minute presentation. It's going to go fast. I am recording this, and I believe the conference is also recording it. So if I do go fast and you want to relive something again, you can. My name is Zdrojewski. I am a K-12 Director of Technology at the Oakville, Alabama School District, and that's only as of 3 weeks ago I took that new job. Prior to that, I was a classroom technology teacher at a middle school, 7th and 8th grade, for 14 years. So I have both higher ed administrative and classroom experience in the K-12 world. Then change roles, now as an adjunct instructor. I've been teaching since 2012 at Canisius College in the Education Technologies Department, and there's 3 teachers there that comprise of the department. And all of our contact information and a little flyer about our program is on the table where the projector is, so if you're interested in grabbing that today before you go, I welcome you to do that. My blog is robztraining.com. Upper right-hand side, you'll see a place there you can subscribe by email. And I have presented this workshop in a 2 to 3 hour format as well for Evernote at past events such as ISTE. So if you're interested in that, on the blog, just scroll down until you find it. You'll be able to see all of my recorded presentations if you want to know more about Evernote compared to this little teaser that I'm going to give you in the next 20 minutes. So first of all, I made a little outline for myself. So any existing Evernote users out there in the audience? All right, how many would say that they use it for mostly professional use? How many use it more for personal use? All right, that's usually the case. It starts in the personal use area. You know, when was my last oil change? Or what's that serial number for the lawnmower I just bought? Or information that you need to save in your personal life. But then you start realizing, well, in my day-to-day job for whatever I do, there's paperwork all over the place. If I could just take pictures of that and have that digitized, then I don't have to save all this paperwork in file cabinets. And I started doing that. It started in my personal life and migrated over to my professional life so that things that I need to know or be able to find, I don't have to rely on a drawer somewhere. And speaking of drawer, we probably all can relate to something like this picture that I grabbed. I call this the junk drawer analogy. All right, how many people have a drawer like that in their house somewhere? Okay, possibly like the kitchen or the den or something. Now the advantage is that's not a bad thing. We look at it and say, oh, that's tough, but that's good because you might need those batteries or that tape, or it's the place you go when you know you have something in your collection, you just don't know exactly where it is. So it's a good thing because it's the place where you can rely on that something's there. But it's the bad thing because how do I shift through it all because I need to find something quick. So Evernote is kind of like this. It's my digital junk drawer with information from my past of stuff that's tied to my lifestyle, both personal and professional. But the beauty is it's not a drawer I have to go shuffling through. I can type in keywords and things will pop up right on the screen instantly for me. And I have some examples like that today that I will show you. So again, as I said, it's accessible across all devices and platforms. Whether you're talking desktop, laptop, Android, iOS, Windows Phone, Nokia, BlackBerry, anything that can take an app, basically. Evernote's really great with having their software work on it. And it's not always going to look the same. When I look at Evernote here on my desktop, on the Mac, it will look different from Evernote on Windows. It'll also look different as Evernote on my iOS device. Okay, they build the app so that it takes advantage of the unique capabilities of each device. So you can't expect an exact same appearance across all different platforms because it will be different, so they want you to know that right off the bat. But they will leverage whatever capabilities, especially the mobile device, the cameras, so that the image recognition works really, really well. As compared to a laptop that might not have as good of a webcam on it, that might not be the main focus is taking pictures when you're using a device like that. So back to my outline here. I'm going to give you a 50-second high-level overview of Evernote so you get an idea of what it can do if you're new to it.
Hi, welcome to Evernote. Evernote is a way to capture all your experiences and access them from anywhere. Type a note, store documents, record audio, capture a photograph, or any other moment you want to remember. Evernote saves and synchronizes your digital life across all your devices. No matter where you are, Evernote is with you. Use it to stay more organized. Plan your next trip. Design and manage a project. Clear your paper clutter. Capture a moment and always find what you need. Life is full of experiences, and Evernote helps you capture, manage, and remember them all.
If you saw in there, they showed that ScanSnap scanner. That's about a $200 to $300 scanner. I bought one of those thinking, I'm going to take piles of paperwork and scan it through. But then smartphones kind of entered the world a couple years ago, and this iPhone 6 Plus, the optics on this camera are very, very good, to the point now where I can take a pile of papers and just let the camera locate the sheet of paper on the table, and it crops it automatically, and then I just flip the page, take the next one, flip the page, take the next one. So I've done that instead of carrying around a $200 to $300 scanner. I have this in my pocket at all times. So I use this as my scanner to take images of things. And today I'll demonstrate that, especially with business cards, which is really nice because it actually captures all the information on the card and makes a contact out of it. Even links it into your LinkedIn account if you choose to do so. So it's some pretty amazing things with the image capture. So a quick look at how I used Evernote in this past week alone. I had to think about it in the past 7 days. I had the piece about my Honda CR-V. When was the last oil change? The Maytag washer, the warranty claim, I had to find out information about that, and I know I put it in Evernote years ago. The treadmill belt, I had it break again on my sister-in-law's treadmill, and I know that I had tagged where I bought it from, the serial number, claim information, things like that. And my Southwest Rapid Rewards number, I had to book a flight. So all those things are things personal to me in my life. You probably could have some of your own examples too. That would be really great to have that data stored someplace digitally so you didn't have to go digging in a drawer somewhere or a file cabinet for that information. So let's talk pricing, because you could use Evernote for free, the basic plan for free. For most people, that's going to be just fine. Now they've added a middle ground plan called the Plus plan for $25 a year, and I've always been on the premium plan, which is roughly $5 a month, or a little bit of a savings if you purchase it for the year. So you can see the comparisons here. You get a little bit more storage when it comes to monthly uploads. The beginning part is 60 megabytes, and if you're not using this for file storage, because for me that's what Google Drive is for, if I'm just using it for text-based notes or checkbox lists or photographs, 60 megabytes probably would be fine for the month. And this is not, there's no cap on your storage. This is new storage for each month. So if you're at the free plan, it's 60 meg this month, then another 60, then another 60, and it just adds up incrementally. The 1 gig plan gives you a little bit more space, and then the plan I have is technically unlimited, which nowadays is not as big of a deal as it was years ago, especially that Google Apps for us education users at least gives us unlimited storage space for our files as well. So that's a little bit about the pricing structure of how that works. Makes a great Christmas gift. I purchased an account for my wife, and I renew hers and mine every year, and we use it on our phones, and it's a way to keep information at our fingertips. Some advanced features, which I don't have time to dig in, but I want you to know that they do exist, is you can share notes and notebooks across user accounts. So if I have a notebook that I need to share with my wife, maybe gifts for the kids or something, and I'm tagging stuff online and finding something I want to save, I can throw it into that notebook and she'll instantly have a copy for it. Because I just mentioned website stuff, let's do exactly that. Let's go to Amazon.com and let's search for the Blue Yeti microphone that I would like to purchase. The one that is this one here for $129. So this is an item that I've purchased in the past. I want to actually purchase another one for school because it works really well. So what I will do, instead of bookmarking it or copying the link you see up here, which is a really long link, I will clip it. And I've installed the Evernote clipper in Chrome. You can install it in all the popular browsers. So if I click on that now, I have the ability to grab it. Now, some sites like Amazon and YouTube have their own special clipping feature. If I want to do the full page, which is kind of the default, it gets everything on the page. But really, that's more information than I need. And when I click on Amazon, it saves the pictures, the summary, the prices, and things like that. So I will go ahead and add a tag here, and I'll say gifts, so that I could find it under a tag of gifts later. And I'm just saving it to my general notebook. But if I had a separate notebook, I could make categorize things that way. But what I tend to do is I don't like to get real heavily with, okay, what tag, what notebook, what title. I don't like to do all that because it takes time. I just want to grab it so that I know I can look for it later. And in fact, what I will do is go to that right now on the desktop. We're looking at the desktop version now. And if I were to just search for Yeti, that's part of the name of that microphone, it likely will come up with it. There's the top, there it is right there. And look at what it did. It knows that I was looking for the word Yeti, so it highlighted it in the image for me. So it does some, and even right there in all the reviews, it highlights that word. So all I have to remember is something about it. I could search the word Amazon, search the word blue, microphones, anything of that nature, and it comes up as one of my results here on the desktop. If I switch here to the mobile platform, you're now looking at the screen of my iPhone. Okay, let's see if it rotates. There we go. Bless you. And same idea here. I'm going to search for the word Yeti. Hit search, and it comes up right at the top there. It even, in this view, gives you a nice little thumbnail image there, and there's that note that I clipped from the web. And we're looking at it here now on iOS. So the format of it takes place to fit the screen of an iOS device very nicely. And that's how simple that is to take a note from a web page. So I take them from web pages, and I take them with the camera. And I'm going to get to that in a moment here, because those are the two most popular ways of me getting information into Evernote. So I have a bunch of the more commonly type of notes here. And just because I have a text note does not mean it has to be text only with no pictures. It could be text with some checkboxes, with a photo, with a file attachment, and a business card scanned, and an audio clip. It could be all together. I'm just doing it for purposes of this demonstration to show you the various categories of types of notes, but you can combine content within a note. So a text note here, a retirement speech. I'm going to do this from, I'll go back to the desktop platform. And what I remember about that example is this was for a teacher, a library media specialist that was retiring. So I can remember her first name was Chris. So I'll search that, and it's retirement. So I remember her name, and it was a retirement thing. And so of the results that came up, wasn't the topmost one from March 31st, but it was this one from May 29th. Here's the note that I'm looking for. And I did this actually at my iPhone. I think I was sitting in a faculty meeting, so don't tell anybody that. But I was using the time by typing up this note, and I didn't have access to my laptop because I couldn't have that open during a faculty meeting, but I had this open, and I knew in my, instead of listening to the presenter speak, I thought, well, this would be the time I can write that thing I have to talk about for the retirement next week. So small screen, able to type it on the small keyboard, typed it up, able to have bullet points in there too to kind of organize my thoughts. And that's a way of me being able to capture that on the fly with the device I had at that moment. I also used it at the podium when I did the retirement speech for her and used that as a reference to look at. So that's a quick example of a text-based note. Now on to checkboxes, my presenter checklist. Whenever I come to a conference like this and I have to remember to pack all these things and adapters and all that, I make a nice little checklist. So this time, let's look on my iPhone, and we'll use the Evernote app. And back to the main menu. And we'll search for the term checklist. I have lots of checklists, so by doing that, I'm going to get a lot of different results coming up, but it's going to go by the most recent chronologically at the top. And likely that's the one I was looking for was that. And I have my checklist of items. So I make sure that before this is actually not what I'm bringing to the conference. This is when I'm at the conference, at the table. Remember to do all these things before I present. So you can add your checklist items. If I just go put the cursor in here and show you and hit enter, it gives me in the next box to type in the next item as follows. And so you make your lists, and then when you need to check things off, you have your nice checklist there. If I really wanted to get fancy, I could tie in reminders to things too, so that you have time-based notifications. I don't have time to dig into that really right now because of our short time, but I want you to know that does exist on there. You can add time-sensitive things so that notifications come up on your screen at a specific time. Click on that notification, and it brings you right to that note. So for this case, I could have said, bring this up at 3:35 p.m. because I knew it's 5 minutes before I start, and then that note would be easily brought up on my radar in that fashion. All right, so back to here. How are we doing on time? All right, we have 8 minutes. Next up is my favorite, the photos. How many of you brainstorm with whiteboards and draw by hand on whiteboards? All right, this is really going to blow you away because this is what the power of being able to sit back and brainstorm and not have to write things down. We had a faculty meeting before school, only 10 minutes, so it was really quick, and it was about a capital improvement project. Name all the things, your wish list items you'd love to see happen. So the principal is up there, he's writing things down in his scribbling handwriting on the board, and then 10 minutes goes by and the kids are coming in on the bus, we got to go. So someone's thinking, what am I going to do? Should I just take a picture of the screen? And I said, take a picture in Evernote so that all that handwritten text is now searchable. And so I can remember back, there was a discussion, the art teacher, his name was Dale Bosworth, he wanted to do something with sinks. So if I remember that key piece of it now, I can search my entire account here for sinks, and let's see if it comes up. And so I know it's not that one. It's that one right there. And see, there it is right there. The word sinks, which was handwritten in a very quickly done fashion, is highlighted right there. And here's all the pictures from that session. So before we walked out of the room and anyone erased the board, I said, take a picture of the board, and all that text is now searchable. And some of it's not going to be, like I can tell that word says storage, but it may not be able to see STOR probably can see the AGE. So it has to be somewhat reasonable text, but I thought that was a good example where it actually shows that. I've even done something as far as before I go to the doctor and maybe they want to know about my vitamin B intake, take a picture of the multivitamin that I take, where it has lots of small print on it, just take a picture of it. So then now at the doctor's office you can search B12 and suddenly that pill bottle comes up with the annotation on there. I've done that in the past too. So you just take pictures of things and they are all searchable because it's not instant. Evernote servers take a couple of minutes to go through and process everything it sees as words on an image, and then it makes it indexable and searchable. All right, then next we get to is a a document. So Delta Sonic oil change. All right, so for my oil change example, go back here. I always go to, in Buffalo, we have Delta Sonic, which I don't think that's all around the country, right? That's just a Buffalo thing. So I can search Delta Sonic, and I take pictures of either coupons that I get in the mail, or here's my most recent oil change. Come on, there it goes. And then you can see it highlighted in yellow. There it is right up there. It knows the word Delta Sonic. So look at the title of my note, by the way. It's titled Untitled Snapshot Note. I don't even spend time typing in the words Delta Sonic. I just take the picture because I know if the words are on the document, there's no need for me to waste my time typing in words, titles, things like that, because it'll just be found in that fashion. So that saves you time doing that way too. Next one up then is business cards. I'm going to take, now mine's not a real good example because they printed, I don't like the font they used. They did a really skinny looking font, but I'll still use it. My business card here, when someone gives me a business card, I don't like to hang on to these things, but I want the information. I want to have it always with me. And because I take the picture here, the date is automatically categorized. Boston, Massachusetts is automatically categorized, so in the future I could look for all business cards I got from Boston. Really, really great way to do it. So now you're looking at my phone. I'm not even going to launch the app necessarily by hitting the button. I'm going to do the pull down method and use the shortcut here, which says, the second one in, Photos. So I'll go to Photos. It'll automatically launch it in, and now, notice I have a contrasting background. I'm doing that on purpose. It should start turning green. It should, there it goes, and you just hold it nice and still. It takes it, it automatically rotates it 90 degrees the way it should be, and now you're going to see, if I hit save, oh, I did that as a document, didn't I? I should have done it as a business card. Well, what it will do is it will pull up all the data inside there and have the address, the phone number, and all the contact information. You could hit one button and it saves it to your contacts on your device. You could also, if you have LinkedIn set up, have it tie it to LinkedIn, and it will then add that person to your LinkedIn account. So it's a really great way to do pictures of things. As you saw, it has that greenish looking thing. You just hover over your piece of paper as long as it's on a contrasting background, and it will capture it automatically. If that doesn't work, because maybe you're taking a picture of a white piece of paper on a white tabletop, you can do the manual mode where you actually press the shutter button and it takes that picture. But in that case, it won't crop it nicely to get the edges just right. And it knows if you took it kind of sideways, it'll make it up and down so that all the text is flowing from left to right. As long as it's English text, I should mention too. So pretty neat ways to use Evernote there to take pictures of things, and then you don't need the paper anymore, you toss it, and you can trust that you have your information stored, not on your device, because maybe this device gets lost or stolen or burned, but your device is safely in the cloud. Your information's in the cloud. All right, we have audio examples here too. We probably are, just about out of time. Web page I showed you earlier when I captured using the clipper. And then send via email. Perfect if you're on an iPad or an iOS device. You have the ability to have a private email account. An email account is tied to your, I don't really want to show it because then everybody will see what it is, and I am recording this too. But within your account, you will be able to go into your account information, and Evernote gives you a special email address. So what I do is I add that as a contact on my iOS device. So now when I want to send something to Evernote, say I'm on a web page, I'll hit that export button, the square with the arrow pointing out of it, and it says send to, I say send to email, and then I copy the information in it and let that email get sent to Evernote. And then within a minute or two, it appears as a item inside my Evernote account. So for the iOS world, that's been a great way to get stuff to your Evernote account. So that is a quick rundown. I hope you enjoyed seeing what you can do with Evernote. And again, if you're interested in seeing more, I have a more lengthy presentation on Evernote on my teacher blog, robztraining.com. So thank you for coming. I'll be up here for any questions, and enjoy the rest of the conference.